Hi, I'm Jennifer and I'm Minimalist My Way. I'm glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about a topic that is not a lot of fun to talk about, and that is making a budget. Now, budgeting and money management is a huge topic that I could spend hours and hours and hours on, but I'm not going to do that. Today we are just going to talk about, in the most simple terms, how you make a budget and get a hold of your finances. I hope to make videos in the future that will address things like saving money or different ways to budget, things like that in the future. But now I just want to touch on how you can quickly and easily get a hold of your finances and stop hemorrhaging money if that's what you are doing. So, first of all, we have to get the facts. What are your financial facts? You need to look for how much money you have coming in, and you need to know how much money you can reasonably expect to come into your budget every month. You also need to look at how much money is going out. Now, when you're looking for your expenses, definitely look through all of your statements from your bank or from your credit cards or however you're paying your utility bills, things like that. Make sure you look at how much is going out routinely every month, but also look at things that are not routine but that still come up. They are budget killers, and those are things like gifts. If it's a big month for birthdays in your family, or you have an anniversary or a vacation, or you have Christmas coming up, things like that, that's a lot of money that goes out. But you can predict, you know when your kids' birthdays are, you know when you're going on vacation, you know when your anniversary is, and everybody knows when Christmas is. So think about the things that are not quite so routine, but that are coming up in your budget. That may be also things like taxes. That may be also things like your mortgage escrow thing that is due every month, every year, and you're always behind, because that always gets me as well. Things like contracts that you pay a fee maybe yearly to plumbers or to the furnace men, that come and service your furnace, and you belong to that program once a year. Car insurance may be only paid once a year, license plates, things like that. Try and capture as many of those things as well. When does your Amazon Prime renew? That month is always a bummer for me. So take a look at everything that is coming out either on a routine monthly basis or that will come out during certain months of the year. And then the last thing you need to look at is what you owe. So these are things that you are maybe paying on every month, like your mortgage, your car payment, things like that. It may be things that you're not paying on yet, but that you still will owe. So things like past medical bills that you've not started paying on, past taxes, things like that. Look at everything and get a list together of what you owe, so you will know. And I know it's difficult and I know it's very scary, but if you are not a person who budgets typically, or you're a person who feels like they are in financial trouble, you have to look at your situation and you have to understand the facts. And that's the only way to get a handle on your finances. The other things that I would suggest that you do, just so that your money is not in a complete emergency, is to stop what you can as far as money emergencies. And this would be, in my opinion, if you have something that is in collections, stop ignoring those calls and get with the collections people and make an arrangement. Settle or start making payments or whatever it is that you need to do, because collections turn into garnishments, and you're gonna end up paying so much more if that happens. So if you have something in collections, face it, call, make arrangements. Don't let it get any worse. If you already have a garnishment on your record, make sure you put that in the what you owe category. Other things like late fees, overdraft fees, any kind of fees that you're getting just because you either don't have money in an account or you are maxed out and going over the limit, or you are late on a payment and you just have to pay a fee because you're late. Try and get a handle on when those due dates are and how much money is in those accounts. And if at all possible, try and get those accounts current and to where the late fees and the overdraft fees and the over the limit fees stop, because that's just paying money for absolutely nothing. That is just like taking money and throwing it in the toilet. And nobody wants to do that. And especially if you're having financial difficulties, you can't do that. Nobody can afford to do that. But another money emergency I would suggest looking at right away is trying to get a little bit of money in an emergency fund. So, and that could be, just cash at your house. That could be whatever, but whether it's $100, $200, $50, but you need to have a little bit of cash on hand for an emergency situation, just so you can feel a little bit better. And an emergency situation, of course, is not, going to Starbucks or whatever, but I'm talking something comes up where you cannot feed yourself, you can't get to your job, something like that, where you've got a little bit of cash on hand that you can bail yourself out with if necessary. So that is the information that you need to gather and that you need to understand, and the facts that you need to get so that you can make a budget. And then, of course, the idea is to eventually make it so you owe less and that the money coming in is more than the money that is going out. And then you can start saving, you can pay things off, but that's all for another episode. Another few things that I will say: if you are having a money emergency, if you just want to start having a budget and you're investigating all of these things, you need to work together with the other financial partners that you have in your household. If that's a spouse or a partner or a roommate that shares bills, or a parent, or a child that's paying you rent, anything like that, where you've got a partner that is sharing in either the bills or the income, you need to work with them as much as you can. Have a family meeting, discover your financial story yourselves, together, and decide what you want to do together. If you fly solo on this one, there's only so much you can do on your own, depending on how much you make and how much you spend and how much the other person makes and how much the other person spends. Or maybe it is just you, and then you're fine to go it alone. But if you have other financial partners, definitely get their buy-in, get their advice. 2 heads are better than one, and your relationship will be stronger for it. The last thing that I will say is, if this is all just too much, if you are at a place in your finances where you just can't handle looking at it, or you just don't know what to do or where to go, get some professional financial help. That may be a financial advisor. That may be someone at your bank or your credit union that can help you look at your finances and help you come up with a rudimentary budget. I would caution you and tell you to not pay for the services of a financial advisor. There are lots of independent financial advisors that are free of charge to you and that will be paid through either products that you end up purchasing later on, like life insurance or investments or things like that. But don't pay someone money you don't have to help you figure out your money situation. And also the people at the banks or whatever, they should be free as well, and they should help you. And if they're just trying to sell you a bunch of things, they may not be the true help that you think they are. If you have a trusted friend or a trusted family member that is good with money, and you're comfortable sharing with them the ins and outs of your finances, that would be a great way to go too. So good luck. You can do it. I did it. I was definitely in financial straits for many, many years. I could never seem to get my expenses below the whatever amount of money it was that I was making, whether I was making a little bit or making a lot. And I did have a lot of debt, a lot of credit card debt, student loan debt, debt from loans, debt from cars, things like that. And you can get a handle on it. So best of luck. As always, be minimalist your way. And I will link some resources down below for some blog posts that I've written about budgeting. And like I said, I will record some additional videos on budgeting. This is just kind of the very first one on how to stop your budget emergency and get the facts about where you are so that you can achieve your financial goals.